Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon to all. First of all, to Galeri Petronas, Wanzalina, thank you for inviting me to be a moderator for this afternoon session. Special thanks to our special guest, Mr. Bayu Utomo later, and accompanied with our performance just now, dancer, Mr. Zaro. And to all of you for gracing this afternoon event. Thank you for coming today. Just to arrange a little bit to give a bit of order for our session today, we will have three parts. First we will get to know the artist, introduction, his upbringing, his childhood, a little bit of family, things like that, yeah. And then we will try to get from him his experience, all his, the making, the process, and the way that he does his work, the things that are rarely been heard or seen, on the media, yeah. So hopefully with this experience, we can learn something from him, and things will be beautiful for all of us. Then on the third issue, on the third part, we will get back to this exhibition here, where Bayu, together with Prof. Zulkifli and Mutalib, having a major shows here, and then we will get back to him and ask him the story, the behind tales about these three amazing works here, and then in comparison with the other two artists, yeah? Maybe I shall invite Bayu in front. And Mr. Fairul. Sorry, I missed your name just now. Selamat datang. I will speak in both languages, yeah. Okay, a little bit of introduction for Bayu. He's a major figure in Malaysian art scene. Yeah, he's very known with his big, huge figure and gestural paintings. However, Bayu also works in other medias, sculptures, printing, and also as a stage designer, yeah? Okay. And he was born in Tawau in 1969, if I may reveal that. Received his formal education at UITM. After finishing his degree, he formed Matahati, yeah, an art collective group together with his friends. Started with 7, and then 7, and then 5, yeah, as a networking, yeah, helping each other, buddy, working together. Later, he founded this art collective, become House of Matahati, a bit more formalized and, putting up shows and things like that, yeah. And then now it's known as Home Art Trends, yeah. But you also a member of F Club, yep. F Club is a gathering of local figurative artists and as a group, yeah, promoting arts in figurative manners, yeah. He has done numerous shows, yeah, local and abroad, very, very many shows, impressive. And later, as we talk about these works, more credential, I will share with you. in conjunction with the talks, yeah? Just now, we witnessed viral, impressive performance, yeah? Very, very moving, yet ritual, you know? If that is, I can coin that two words, yeah? Moving pieces are very gestural, beautiful, full of body gestures and, you know, a lot extension of body and, you know, movement and very, very expressive. I guess this is in rereading Bayu's painting at the back and the other two also. More about Farol since we, you know, yeah. Farol is a principal dancer, choreographer in Aswara Dance Company for several years. He's also a guest lecturer at National University of Singapore, University of Philippines, Mindy University of China. He has collaborated with several local artists and performers in Germany, Australia, Japan, New York, Israel, China, Philippines, London, Italy, and many more. Yeah. He was trained in contemporary ballet, Malay dance, Chinese classical dance, and Indian classical dance also. In 2015, he continued his studies in MFA in New York at the prestigious NYU Tisch School of Fine Art. He won several awards, winning in the category of cartographer and dance for Cameroonian Art Awards and Crystal Art Award, New York City. Yeah, and we are so lucky to have two best artists here today. Okay. Okay, I think we will start with the first part, getting to know Bayu. I think I'm so intrigued with your name first. Can you share with us what's the name all about?
Assalamualaikum. Pertama kali saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Galeri Petronas kerana memberi kesempatan untuk saya sharing my stories lah about art and give me a chance to re-exhibit. I think this one is the second time to exhibit the paintings in conjunction of the event. Okay, macam diperkenalkan tadi, introduced by Pital, that I'm born in 1969 in Tawau, and I have unusual name. I think unusual name for people in Semenanjung is an unusual name, but I think people in Sabah is a bit common. It's a bit common name. So basically, I'm of Javanese. My parents both are Javanese as well. So I'm third of my in the family, and I was given the name of Bayu Utomo. Radjikin is my father's name. Bayu Utomo Utomo in Javanese is Utama, so it's the man breeze. They call it the man breeze. So yeah. And of course, when I'm coming in Semenanjung, people keep on asking, "Is that your like commercial names or something?" Then I have to show them my IC lah. So then they believe lah that's my name, kind of thing. Yeah.
So you were not born during a windy day or something?
I'm not sure about that. Maybe.
Okay.
So.
And tell us a little bit of your upbringing. You were born in Tawau, and how was Tawau back then? I've never been there personally.
Yep. Okay, basically I'm grew up in one village called Brumas Camp. It's a camp for loggers. So it's about from the city of Tawau. It's about 1.5 hours driving on the gravel road. Okay. So basically the village is resident by all people that work on the logging, what we call it, a logging industry, that's kind of thing. So my father is a teacher on that particular school in that village, kind of things, So Yeah, the village is surrounded by jungle, of course. It's surrounded by jungle, so meaning that if you want to go to the city, you need to wake up very early in the morning, to catch up the bus. That only going on the morning and come back in the afternoon, really late out there, so. But I think surrounded by nature, surrounded by jungle, basically to be. I think make good sense for me, kind things, yeah. And I think basically as young boy during that time sekolah rendah, and I think semacam kanak-kanak yang lain juga, I'm used to like to draw with other kids as well. But I think there's few incidents that make me drawing more. I think first, I think there is one teacher, English teacher in the school, English teachers in the school that used to teach English subject using drawing as what we call it, as a reference. I think for her is make the student more understand more and easy to catch up kind of things, So of having that he didn't have anybody to draw for her, So maybe because I'm a little bit, I can draw better maybe with other students. So she start to hire me to draw things for her. So it's a subject, certain kind of subject. So he give me about like RM5 per drawing, so that thing. So I think that's actually that's become my professional job because I'm getting paid for that. But I think starting from that, I'm getting to draw more. I'm a little bit focused on drawing during that times, yeah. Until I went to the town for my secondary.
So this was all during your primary school years?
Yes, my primary school.
I see, okay. Time. And Fairul, when do you first met Bayu?
When I first met Bayu, I heard Bayu's names often, since, I don't know, maybe 9 to 10 years ago. But first time I met him in Rimbundahan. Okay. During that time we have a talk. I think it's conference, Bayu? Conference with, I think My Dance Alliance during that time have a conference, and they gather all the artists across the Southeast Asia, and then they want to build the bridge within this company to grow the arts developments in Malaysia during that time. And then I came up with the great scholar and choreographer, which is Professor Dr. Joseph Gonzalez, during that time, because people said I'm his shadow. Everywhere I go, everywhere Joseph goes, I will follow him. And also because Joseph always want all his students to know and to gain as much knowledge for the industry, of course. And then during that time I met Bayu. Bayu sat in front of me very quietly with long hair, like a rocker, something like that. I said, who is this young man? Not really young, but who is this figure who's sitting in front of me? Very quiet. And then after that, I asked Joseph, who is this man? And then Joseph, look at me and then said, you don't know him? With the British accents, you don't know him? And I said, just tell me, Joseph, just tell me. Oh my God, Fairul, that's why people say you are space cadet. And I said, yes, I'm space cadet, just tell me. And then he said, this is Bayu Utomo. But during that time, I'm still figuring out, who is Bayu Utomo? It shows that I'm very space cadet, obviously. And then after that, everything's on your fingers, the technology on the fingers. And then I Google said, oh, this is Bayu Utomo. And during that time, I started to Google myself, Fairul Zahid. And then there's no name, Fairul Zahid. I said it was Fairul Zahid, maybe from Africa or something like that, there's no Fairul Zahid on the Google. I think during that time it's 2007, 2008, something like that. And then I start to Google him more and look at all his works, past work and something like that. And then I got inspired with him. And then after that, I teach in Aswara. And then I stopped continuing my master's. And then I got hired by UITM during that time by Dr. Zizi Zulkifli, also one of my idols, and my friend also, and my boss. And then I realized that Bayu Utomo is her husband. And then I said, like, okay, whatever, Zizi, it's your husband, okay, fine. You know, and then during that time, I start develop myself to know him more. And then after that, I really wish that I'm going to collaborate with him in the future, because I like to collaborate with the artists across the Southeast Asia and also the world. And then, of course, Bayu Utomo, who doesn't want to work with Bayu Utomo. But it's a long story. How I get here is a very long story. That's the things how I met.
That's the story, yeah?
Yeah, but
it's okay, Fairul. It's better late than never. This is what we are here for, to get to know in person the real Bayu, okay? I shall continue. And Bayu, you were saying about your school works, your first exposure in the school about drawing, your English teacher and things like that, yeah? So, can we say that is your first exposure to art and that's trigger your interest?
Not really, actually. The exposure of art starting from, I think, from my brother.
Brother? Okay.
Yeah, because my brother is studying at USM during that times.
Okay.
During that time, and I think masa sekolah menengah lah.
Yeah.
Sekolah menengah, and I think he used to send his picture masa kat USM. So one of the picture, I think few of his picture is dia tengah ambil gambar dalam Gallery USM. So what interests me is like, oh, there is a lot of painting at the background of him. It's like I really like that painting. You know?
Okay.
I really like images, you know,
I
that
see.
kind of paintings. I mean, so because I think during that time, I think computer pun tak ada kan, so images is coming from photograph. Yeah. So I think that's the earliest what we call it introduction for me on painting and images, and I think it's triggered to me that actually I really like visual art. I really want to involve in visual arts. After that, then I did tell my second brother. My second brother during that time dia study ke US, the thing. So ask him if he can send me any magazine related to art. You know, so he start sending me magazines, but most of the magazine that he's sending me is like what we call it, is magazine, beauty magazine kind of thing. So this
female magazine.
Yeah. So a lot of painting is have the element of flowers, everything. So I just feel I need more. I need more info than this, you know, that kind of things. Until SPM. Lepas SPM, then I'm applying to UITM lah. So I apply for 2 courses. One is fine art. Second is hotel catering.
I see. I would love to see that.
Hotel catering.
I didn't hear that coming.
So lucky I got visual arts, like visual art, and then we enrolled in UITM, and I think it's 1987, and start my study there, kind of things, yeah.
So beside your brother, is your parents into art or have some kind of, aesthetic, inclination, anything like that?
I think not from my parents. I don't.
Parents.
Yeah, I don't think any. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the surrounding, does it affect you? Living in the jungle full of green things and things like that?
I think no until now. Now then I realize the connections because
I see.
During that time you just feel nature is a nature. Yeah. It's nothing affect your artistic creations
I
per
see.
se. kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see
Yeah.
after 30 years of being surrounded with that, and then I'm sure like, balik kampung, things like that, during Raya, you feel the impact now, and the I think it's very interesting to know that the upbringing of artists with the immediate family, with the teachers, and things that unintentionally, looking at your brother's picture in the gallery, not his face, but the surrounding that trigger you certain thing. I think that's good. So experience does matter in this sense of introducing you to art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were
Yeah,
asking
because
what? Okay. I think yeah. Because when I start study art in UiTM, masuk awal dulu, I think for the first year I'm very confused. Like the subject that been taught in art school really macam tak faham, because I think because my upbringing that you're from kampung, you masuk, and you really thought that okay, people masa kat sekolah tu dia akan ajar you pelajaran that you expected to be, you are become more skillful. But after they teach you the fundamental of art, fundamental of design, there's more, so you feel like the shape, tension, rhythm, all those things, it's completely new.
Okay.
So you just feel like, I don't know, is art this complicated? That kind of thing during that time.
During that time,
But after a while, then after you, because on the foundation level, but after you masuk fine arts, then you start to gain, or you start to connect what you learn with your skill, and then I start to enjoy myself during the school during that time. Yeah.
Now, you do so many things, yeah. We know a little bit of your background, your childhood, your exposure, things like that. What is your typical daily routine now after becoming involved with the art? You have a family to take care of, and you have some business to take care of also. Just share with us.
I think when I'm just graduate, I think when I was sendiri lah, during that time, I think because you are hanging out a lot with friends, so basically your art activities mostly connected with your surrounding or group of friends, that kind of thing, So basically, they always, and all on the creation side, they're always starting on the early night, or the night, and it's end up like the next morning kind of things, During the day, most of the artists are either they sleep or they're doing other things, They're doing other activity beside creating art kind of thing. But now it's a bit changing, and then a lot of changing now because I'm running my own space, and as well I have to produce my own work. So on the daily basis, I have to have a schedule. So meaning that Monday I go to studio, Tuesday I'm go to the office. Wednesday I'm meeting artists, that kind of thing. Yeah, and I'm treating my artworks like a daily job of 9 to 5, meaning that I masuk studio in the morning, then I balik petang. So then, and at night I'm not doing any artworks. I'm just concentrating with the family.
Yes.
So that kind of
I read about that. So I think this nature of working as an artist and the other formal field of people like architects or business people, this 9 to 5, that's applicable to an artist also, yeah? Yeah. We always thought you guys work like from 2 in the morning until 5, until subuh and things like that.
That's the earlier part. I mean, the earlier career I'm doing that.
I see.
Yeah,
so when you were still single.
Yes.
Okay.
Because after a while that you see that creating art is a system. Creating art.
It's
It's not like you are waiting for an idea, you got an idea and you're doing works. No, meaning you're putting yourself in the systems. So idea will come on the certain elements. Sometimes you keep on producing without an idea, but while producing, sometimes you can have like 3-4 idea in one time.
Okay.
So you have to, because if you are only waiting for idea to come, you will not producing, because I think idea is coming from the constant thinking.
Constant thinking.
Yeah,
Okay.
so then you can get idea, and basically you have to start first idea to get second idea and others ideas coming.
Okay.
The things. So
I think it's good to know that you are very ritualistic in your work. You started at 9, finish at 5, and then you have other things. And on certain day you meet the artist. On certain day you take care of your space. I think it's similar. Like So yep. Okay, maybe it's good that we move on to the other parts. Before that, I'll have 2 shows of slides to show a little bit on before we see Bayu in his formation years. I think the first show, I think I was at Bayu's space about 2 weeks ago. He has one of the art openings. So a bit of pictures and posters documented on the wall. So I think these are, justification and proof that Bayu has so many things happening, throughout his years as a painter, and solo shows, group shows, some residency program and other young emerging artists, a group of exhibition, which we will talk later, Next slides, if I may. So these are, well known among all the art circles in Malaysia. This is some images of your work that won the Bakat Muda Sezaman, This was, if I'm not mistaken, in 1991.
1991, yes.
Yeah, can you share your experience on that, on
The
being
sculptures,
recognized?
yeah. Okay. That's a series of sculptures. I think there's 2. That is, yes. There's 3 sculptures of that. It's basically there is the other 5 sculpture from the same series. So one of the series with the Sabah State Gallery. Another series is from ada satu lagi is with UITM Shah Alam, and after that 3S1 is from the Singapore Art Museum. Another one from the what we call it, Balai Seni Lukis Negara, and the last one is from a private collection.
Okay.
So basically, the idea of the sculpture that I'm getting from my final year punya project, and inspired by the warrior of Borneo. In detail is Orang Ulu.
Orang Ulu
from Sarawak. Okay, I'm getting inspired for that from a trip that we did during the final semester to Kuching, Sarawak for 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah, bawa oleh our pensyarah Fauzan Omar. He bring for it's a school trip, kind of thing. So we went to the Rumah Panjang, everything. So we met. Then I think that element, the element of orang pahlawan. Pahlawan is strike me quite. So I'm affected by the figure of Bornean warrior.
Okay.
Yeah. Not about dia punya costume, but I think it's just like a fairy tale that a warrior in the jungle in Borneo. You become a warrior because it's become a warrior for all these native people. Is a status, the highest status of that society. So sometimes the highest status of society, when they become the warrior, there's certain element he cannot do whatever he please, because he have a big responsible putting by their society. Because you are the warrior, you have certain responsibility toward us, that kind of thing. So That's why when you see the figure is screaming. It look like screaming.
It
But
is,
yeah,
yeah,
it is.
yeah, it is.
So actually, it's trying to let it out. Everything, so all responsible, all the element that been putting to him as a warrior.
I see.
So I think that's why he came with this series.
The reason that I took that 3 images, I think, to share with the audience that beside, I think, now with all these large-scale paintings, Bayu is more well-known among the publics. Yeah, I think he started with the sculpture. But the one that I want to highlight, the emotion both in the 3D painting and the sculptures, very, very, it can be felt very strongly. And the experience on working on the material, that's part of metal, clay, plaster of Paris, yeah? So how is that different than your goresan, your marking on the canvas?
I think material has become a very important component in creating art, especially in delivering certain elements of thought or feel to that, So sometimes apabila kita buat benda tu, besi is a very strong. For me, beauty is a man-made element. It's very strong. It's very. Sometimes it's overpowering. If you cannot handle it properly, it will overpowering you. It might become your opponent or your victims. So you must know how to handle certain material. Conceptually, it's like that. Jadi maksudnya kalau kita handle besi, I mean we have to know how to make, how to create something out of that benda keras, to create certain emotions towards that, So you have to treat it the way nicely, or macam kita tengok how you gonna do a feathers, the headgear with feathers with besi, can you get the elements of feathers? Feathers is very light kan satu benda, so that the journey of getting the feeling right is a good process of creating an artwork.
Okay.
That's why I'm dealing with a lot. Yeah.
This is going to be a layman question. This is going to be a very layman question. Which one is easier to express via 3D sculpture or painting, or sketches and drawings? For you. Or is it?
It's different. It's
Different.
Yeah, people thought that doing painting is easier. It's just paint,
Yeah.
But I think the problem is how simple thing to convey more effect than bigger things.
Okay.
Some people think it's difficult to do sculptures, but if the sculptures too with banyak kerja cannot convey the element that you want to convey to people as strong as the paintings, then I choose the painting. You get what I mean? So actually all elements in the art, either I'm doing print, sculpture, drawing or painting, have certain element that you can get or you can convey to people compared to other element. So three-dimensional sculpture can convey that particular element that we cannot get from drawing, painting, and others,
Okay, thank you, Bayu. We give Bayu a bit of a break. I go to Viral now. Looking at those sculptures, give me a pose, gestural pose. If you were given that image, express yourself via your feel.
Oh, you want me to show?
Yeah. Since that is your skill, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's a very interesting figure or painting.
Yeah.
So maybe, pardon me, I'm sorry. I don't know, maybe maybe like this.
I see.
Maybe,
yeah, because I
Yes.
think the sculptures are standing upright.
Yeah,
Most
because
on his figures and also the sculpture. So in your field, is figure expression, facial expression plays a, I mean, because of the scale, probably it's not so visible.
I'm happy because lots of Bayu's painting with the series of unnamed from 1 to 14, 14, kan? So a lot of painting created by Bayu, it's all about not show the face, the like overall face lah, we call. And then like for myself, I really hate facial expressions because I am very a contemporary abstract choreographer and dancers.
Okay.
And also because I'm a little bit of fat just now. And then mengah lah, semput, you know. So, so bila out of breath basically when I dance, you know, because my my figures of my body now getting bigger. So the facial expression doesn't really show. I hate to see my facial expressions because you look like dolphin dancing, you know, like that, you know, take oxygen, something like that. So I hate it. So when Bayu shows all this painting, and I said, oh my God, I'm so lucky, you know, because this painting have been chosen by Bayu for me to collaborate with. So, but as a dancer, as a choreographer, I don't really want to show face actually, because dancer must explain or express the movements through the physicals with the story. You doesn't really need to show the facial expression. If you're angry, you have to do angry like that. You must show the body, the physical, what is really angry, what's really sad or something like that. For me, if you manage or able to show all this figure through your physical movement, then you are a very successful choreographer or dancer. But if you depend on facial expression as a dancer and choreographer, I think you are really not a really successful choreographer or dancer, because you depend on this. Seems like you depend on props or sets to show all the concept and themes. You know, because dancer quite similar with painter, with a visual artist of fine art. If you don't have a brush, maybe this has a limitation to do something. Or maybe Bayu can paint something with the hand, we don't need to do the brush. But maybe the effect is different. Like Mr. Bayu said just now, you must keep thinking the system on your brain. Same like a dancer, same like all the artists. In theory, we call that epiphany, you know, by Howard Gardner, the multiple intelligence. You must have the lights there, the bulb there. You must wait, when is the bulb gonna light? You must be ready all the time as an artist. So, that's my thoughts.
Okay, thank you. I think back to the award, Bayu. Bakat Muda Sezaman is very, very important award among the Malaysian art scene, to especially to the young, you know, emerging artists, making a stand, making a remark, being recognized, and to endorse some commitment and your, you know, not only from the art institution, but also from your peers and your friends, yeah? But I remember reading some remark on you after winning the award. You still struggle, yeah? To be recognized, to be accepted, and in terms of, you know, commercial endeavors, things like that. Galleries, you know, it's not easy. You know, you won an award and then you can just have a solo show and things like that. Share with us, has things been changed, or how important is this, you know, accolades and recognition among the art people? Yeah.
I think during that time was 90s, on the 90s I think, 90s. I think recognitions, especially that given by the institutions.
Yeah.
You can say it's like the National Gallery, because of organizing the young contemporary. I think that period is very important. Because I think kebanyakan yang artis during that time know nothing about the art scene, meaning that who are involved in the art scene, what gallery around, they do nothing. You know, they just graduate and they just concentrating on how to maintain their activity as an artist, how to maintain the producing. So I think big institution is during that time is the main, what we call it, platform. It's the main platform to really menyebarkan kepada art scene that there is a talented boy or there is a talented girl that we having now exhibiting something. So during that time is very crucial. I think for me it's crucial because all young artists are going to satu atau dua area, dia pergi national gallery, pergi. Berbeza dengan sekarang is very different now because I think recognition is on your di hujung jari saja. You get me? Recognition is di hujung jari because I think recognition in what I mean is maksudnya you want to be known ataupun you want to be seen, you know. So during that time memang tak ada. You want to seen, you have to exhibit your work, then people know that. But now, lepas je buat, you boleh put on the internet. Internet. So I think you've been seen. You've been seen either for orang yang terlibat dengan seni ataupun on the public kind of thing. So I think they gain that kind of penonjolan on the starting from that platform. Of course, I think after a while, then when people ataupun when people in the arts talk about them, then the another level of recognition is emerged. Kind of thing. You know, so
I think this bohemian ways of versus the media savvy approaches, things are changing, but I think the impact is still there. Yeah, I think recognized by art institution or the custodian of a national art institutions are very, very important. But do you think this open a channel to young people to progress and expose their works?
you mean
With the recent Bakat Muda Sezaman, the relevance of this award?
I think Bakat Muda is always relevant because I think people that young artists that won Bakat Muda or artists that involved with Bakat Muda, academician or people that involved with art historian are talking about their works, you know, and putting their work in the certain category of history. Maksudnya pada tahun ni orang-orang sekian ni telah menang, and the judges are talking about their work in putting in the sense of comparing. Okay, maksudnya if they won and people talk about the kelebihan karya dia, maka comparing dia kepada Bakat Muda tahun-tahun sebelumnya. So I think in the sense of automatically dia punya kemenangan tu membuatkan he is been creating a name in the art scene.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Thank you very much. I think before we move on to the next chapter of your development, yeah, your setting up your space, your galleries and your initiative with the young artists, yeah, I just want to open the floors to the audience on the floors. Anything you want to ask about Bayu from his early upbringing until this winning the Bakat Muda Sezaman, any topic related to this before we move on to other matters, yeah. Puan Zalina, yeah.
Thank you, Bayu, for coming. We met in your studio before we arranged for this. Yeah, my core discipline is human capital development, and I'm very, very concerned about nurturing Malaysia's future talents. You know, at whatever age, whenever they come into the gallery and they leave, I want them to have an experience, and as they grow along and fall in love with this, because I think in our culture, people are not really going into galleries as much as they should compared to developed countries. I just want to inspire at least the young people in here. When you were young, did you ever think that you will reach this far?
Come again.
When you were young, did you ever think that you would come to be this far? I mean, if you can share your personal experience, what is it that you did differently from the UITM days until you progress and until you win that award? What are the things that if you could advise the rest in this session, to have more people like you?
All right. I think first of all, I never thought that I become like that. I don't. The thing is, when I don't know what I become, maybe I think macam biasa je kan. I mean, because what
It's
you
not
become
biasa.
is the perspective from others to you, right? You know. So if you're to what I've been through until when I stand now, I think. First of all, I really know that I really like art, you know. So let's say, okay, I will do art. Okay, I will do art in whatever reason or in whatever way it is, because I just feel that's the thing that I like. Yeah, I might do other things good, something others, but I like art. And in the sense of, I didn't say that I like art. I tell everybody I like art. You know, you showing people you like art. No, but I think it's like. You just cakap pada diri sendiri, hati kecil, okay, I just want to live life, breath, and whatever within this, you know. So in that matter, so I take everything. Maksudnya, if the thing really ask me to do this, then I'll do. I don't mind. You know. So because I just feel like. Best jadi artis, you know. I've never worked at the office, you know. It's like best. Maksudnya you.
But you do have a discipline of
I have
working in an office. That's something fascinates me too. Yeah.
But what I mean is like you just feel happy. Then I just feel like if art make me feel like this, then it's good. That mean what I choose is the right thing, you know. Thing. But I think bukan senang lah, bukan senang maksudnya. It's a lot. First, it's a lot of struggle. Meaning bukannya terpaksa bekerja keras sangat, tapi I think your mind, constantly your mind, and people around you, you know. Sometimes, bila awal-awal people didn't really. Yeah, like, because when you want to become an artist, sometimes you can feel that you are an artist if people tell that, okay, you are a good artist, you know. So if you get people in the surrounding that when they said that your work is not good enough, or all that challenge is really, you know, really, that's the struggle. That's the struggle, how to go through that, how to work things until people accept you, okay, you know, you can be one of them, you know that thing. So until that part is constant struggle. Because I think some people said, okay, artists on certain stage, they're supposed comfortable with that. But I think, no, I think actually the older you get, actually the more struggle that you are facing, you know, but it's a different kind of challenge, you know. It's not the economic part, but sometimes in a point that you feel, when you feel that you are stagnant, then there's a big challenge for you. I'm an artist, and I'm stagnant, you know, nothing. So this kind of thing. So I think this film constantly make you thinking about yourself, which I don't know is good or not.
I think it's good to rethink and learn something, you know, get something, you know. Anybody else on the floor? Yes.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Pital, because when I look at the Lang Kacang, correct me if I'm wrong, it reminds me of the cover album of Rampage, Search. So I think that is the first and the only Malaysian album cover that use sculpture as the album cover. Yeah, we have few albums that use paintings, but for sculpture, maybe that is the first and the one and only. Could you please actually tell us how does it happen back in 1992?
I think for putting artwork on the cover albums, bukan terlalu baru lah, I think. And there is few like macam Luncai Mas, so Kembara, they're using S. Amin Sahab punya paintings as image. So mine, it's happened, I think the art director know me when the art director seen the artworks before, and when they do the cover album, they already have the title of the album, Rampage. So I think they're squatting around, images or any works that can represent that title, Rampage. So when they saw my artworks, so they feel this is the best images. So that's why it's end up become the. And sorry to say, I think people know me more on the Rampage cover. What we call it? I'm the one that is doing the cover of such album. Compared to a normal artist know me as an artist. You know what I mean? Like, so
I think it's very interesting that you have started collaborating with all these other professions and other medias, extending your artworks, offering your visual interpretation and things like that. So just want to highlight the 3 prints, the one that I saw recently at Gallery AP. Yeah, I think that's very, very important that the scale, compared to these 3 big paintings, they are so huge. Even when we come to that 3 prints on the bottom there is very, very detailed and very, very, I'm so impressed with that, how you so, very, very natural and very, very easy to change, to play with the scale and things like that. I think that's very important. And to pick up what Puan Zalina mentioned, that of course you are not biasa-biasa, Bayu, because you know what? The next slide that I'm going to show you is slide number 3. So these are another side of Bayu, that the creative part that rarely being highlighted, which I thought is fascinate me, because one thing I love experiencing visual arts in the casual or formal setting, gallery, or in the auditorium, in the open door, outdoor, things like that. So I just want to highlight that this is a show in Aswara. Yeah, is of course is a very important project by your wife also, Dr. Zizi. Yeah, so I managed to get to take a look of the show. Thanks for highlighting me. You are the one that sent me this posting that, please Pital, come over. And I really, really like it because so stage design, how do you get involved in this?
Okay, interesting. I think I involved with theater for the past 10 years. I've been involved with theater in 10 years.
10 years.
Basically, I do everything in theater except directing and acting. The rest I'll do.
I know. I read about that. You take care of the costume also.
Yeah, I'm doing costume, I'm doing makeup, I'm doing a prop set, everything design with the graphics. I think I started involved with theater in 1991. After I graduated, we hung around with there's a theater company named Center Stage.
Center Stage.
Yeah, Center Stage. It's run by Norman Nordin and Arwah Najib No.
Okay.
Yeah, the two. So we hang around there. Then I'm started involved with project that been involving. So mostly there are a lot of projects that involving a festive. So, but during that time, then I start to involve with 5 Art Center, a very famous theater production.
Of course, yeah.
Production, and get involved with their productions as a designers, kind of things, And after being introduced by Wong Hoi Chong, another artist, then after working with 5 Art Center, then I'm starting to involve with most all art theaters in town, like 5 Actor Studio, 5 Arts, and Instant Cafe and others. The interesting part, the interesting part of why I'm involving with theater, because I think in final year, I do a thesis about how far visual arts memainkan peranan dalam art theater.
So that's your thesis.
Yes, my thesis, kind of things. So I'm tengok Ramli Ibrahim punya show during that time. So, and after I graduate, I said that okay, I want to involve with theater now. So I must have a mission. My mission is because in theater people are working as a group, and everybody, and normally there is one designer there, and I want to know how far they can coordinate, how far they will put artists as a visual artist inside the theater. So I design for them every time. I design when I interact with them, and I try to see how much they appreciate you as a visual artist in the theater productions.
Okay.
Meaning, they're putting you as an artist,
Uh-huh.
or they're putting you as another designers.
Okay.
As designer, that kind of thing. So,
Which do you prefer?
well,
If I can be blunt.
basically, after that, I realized then actually visual artists cannot be visual artists in theater. They are the designers. You know,
I see.
they have to work. They have to use his experience in visual arts as a designers.
Okay.
Kind of thing, you know, because except if you are become the director, then your visual art as an artist become the main element in that particular theater.
I see.
I think, you know.
So what you're saying, like working as a team versus doing it on your own as a painter, are two things that you need to compromise.
Yeah.
And you are under the respective art director, the acting director, and the music directors.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think. So you still passionate on this?
Yes, I'm still passionate, but in one time it's very difficult for me to become a practicing artist, as well involved with design and theater in same time, because become designer of theater, you always juga occupy your mind, your creative mind, to create the design. Which sometimes you say, I need this creative mind to produce my work, you know. So that's why I think after 10 years I stopped doing theater. I stopped doing theater until recently that I had to pasal lah buat.
I see. So back to that.
Because my
paksa.
wife the director.
I know. I
kan,
was about to go to that. Yeah, we're so lucky to have. Yeah.
But I think the perspective changed after I left theater during that time, and now, especially when I see things in theater, because you are see things in theater more singular and more meaningful. You know, you don't want to have a lot of things, but if you choose three things, that three things mesti boleh menggambarkan the whole things. It's very selective now, but it's more difficult actually. Yeah, the things. So that's the challenge.